Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name's David Hanlon, aka the Laptop Legend for those of you who don't know me, and today we're gonna be talking about stocks again. So TSNP did the exact same thing that it's done for the last 3 mornings in a row. So now it makes 4 mornings in a row where it has a big sell-off right at market open and then a bounce that you could easily buy. If you guys don't know how to read this price action, keep watching because I took a live recording of market open and I analyzed it so that I can, explain to you guys how I know whether or not it's gonna take off or tank at market open, because it has done both. But if you're long and it starts to tank, you wanna make sure you get out early so you can get back in at a lower price. And this is very easy to read, but some of you guys might not know how to do it at this point. Also, I had a perfect example of some huge hidden sellers on TSNP. They just come in. If you were watching it live, you might have noticed, but it wasn't able to break through 0.159, and that's because there was a massive seller who was absorbing all the buyers until there were no more buyers and then the stock tanked again. So if you don't know how to read that and you're long, it can be very frustrating and probably scary if you don't understand why it won't break through a price point. So in this video, I'm gonna analyze that, show you guys exactly how you can see when there are huge hidden sellers so you can avoid getting screwed over by them and holding when it's gonna tank because it can't break through those sellers. So hopefully you guys will find this video helpful. Hopefully it can save you some money long term if you're trading on this stock. And yeah, let's get right into it. Alrighty guys, so you know the drill at this point. We're here at my computer and I took a screen recording. For whatever reason it cut off like kind of in the middle, but I got it running again a couple seconds later. So let's just look at the price action. You can see right now, this started right before market open, 9:29, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's see what it is. And I'm out here getting my order ready because I don't know what's gonna happen. This could start to skyrocket and could go back up to 30, I'm thinking. So I'm ready to get in quickly if that happens because I don't wanna chase. But you can see here instantly, like, big seller. It already goes down to 16, so it's down a little bit. Lots of red, massive 435,000 share seller. And at this point, even though we have a big buyer there, like, it's not looking too hot. Printing 16 again. Big. At this point, I know it's gonna crack. You see that type of big seller, a ton of prints. It cracks a little bit, but there's still some buyers here. But at this point, I'm fairly confident this is breaking, and just like that, it breaks. I think the recording's about to run out. So let me go to the other one. Yeah. So here's the other one, and you can see it's still breaking down. At this point, I'm thinking, is it gonna bounce off of 15? Because remember, 16 was like pretty much the low of yesterday, where that massive tank bounced off of. We're seeing it print 15 here, and at this point I'm thinking, all right, it's gonna break 15. Where is it gonna bottom? Is it gonna bottom at 14? We'll see. Massive buyers there, but just get eaten up. 200,000 share seller, 100,000 share seller. We see some green, but I mean already 14.3, 14.2. There's some buyers there, but it's not enough. 14.1, 14. At this point, I'm thinking it's gonna crack 14. 200,000 share buyer is just getting eaten up. And just like that, it cracked under 14. This is the type of action that you don't want to be holding through, especially if you're long a ton of shares. When it's so predictable. Like, this is very, very easy to read. This price action is very easy to read. If you're holding shares, like I had a friend overnight and he was able to get out right here because he knew that it was gonna tank based on the price action. So like, even if you overnighted this. But at this point, I'm thinking, where is it gonna stop? Because you can see there's not really anything until, 10, 11 cents. So I'm thinking this could run all the way down to there before it finds any type of real support, because yesterday it just blew through everything. So I'm thinking that could happen again. So in this case, I don't wanna be early on the dip buy because there's nothing worse than that feeling that I had yesterday where I run out of buying power because I'm early on the dip and then I have to cut. So I'm seeing some green here, but I'm not super convinced. And it keeps going down. It's gonna touch 13. Now it's touching 13. I'm thinking it's probably gonna crack 13. There's a lot of sellers here. But there's still 300,000 buyers, so who knows? We're seeing some more green prints. 1301. 1301, a bunch. I'm thinking, all right, maybe it's bouncing here, but I don't know if I can risk it because it could definitely crack. It could fake out bounce and then keep going. So at this point, I didn't think it had dropped enough. But if you wanted to dip buy, you easily could have done it here. I mean, it's very obviously bouncing here. You had time to get in. And then it goes on a little mini run here. So you can see now it's at 14. Easily broke through 14 on the way back up, 14.4. Came back down a little bit, 14.38, 14.4. I mean, if you'd gotten in at, 13.4, 13.5, that was a pretty easy trade there. If I had unlimited day trades, I definitely would have done that, but I still don't at this point. Still showing some signs of buying, but it's also looking a little weak. And this is what I was worried about if I dip bought here. So I might have been taking profits here if I had dip bought at 13.5. I'm thinking, is it going to break back below 14? Is it going to? Not sure. Seeing some sellers, 100,000 share seller, some big sellers. But at this point, it still hasn't touched 14 yet. Still hasn't touched 14 yet. And there we go. Starts upticking again. Breaks through the previous highs, 14.5. That's a good sign. Gonna keep ripping. 14.9. It's probably gonna test 15 at this point. Is it gonna break through 15? Have to wait and see. And sometimes there's a gap between like buyers. So like or I guess sellers. So if there's a seller at 14.5, the next seller could be at 14.9. So it like might uptick if someone has a big order, but then some sellers come down and then has to work its way back up. So that's sometimes why you see it go directly from 14.5 to 14.9 or to 15 before it comes back down. But again, you can see here now it's worked its way back up. Like I said, it's probably going to test 15. Just have to wait and see what happens. If it starts printing 15, it's likely it's going to break. There we go. We see the 15 print. It's likely it's going to break. And at this point, yep, there we go. It just broke. Now the buyers are above 15. 15.3. This momentum's still pretty easy to read at this point. And again, the reason I didn't get in was because looking at the daily chart, it looked like this had more room to fall, so I wasn't totally convinced about a bounce here. This easily could have gone to 11 or 10. And I think at 10, it would have had massive support and been a super easy dip buy. But at this point, not sure. Not sure what it's doing. Still seeing some green prints, but there's also some big red prints. Luckily at this point, it keeps upticking. So if you dip out here, at 13.5, now you're up 2 cents a share, which with the number of shares you can have is pretty significant. 10,000 shares, that's $200. Seeing some somewhat sizable sellers here, but this point it's not ticking back down. Not really ticking back down. Got a little bit there, back down to 5.5, showing some weakness. I'd probably take some more profits here if I hadn't already. Down to 5.4, 5.3, 5.2. Yeah, I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit. So it has a little mini pullback here, but it doesn't crack 15. And because of that, it's able to keep pushing. You see that 15 holds pretty well. Again, I look here at that daily chart, and again, there's not really much support because there's kind of a gap here until 11, 10 cents area. So I'm thinking this could definitely top here and then go and break these lows at 13. But in this case, 15 cents was able to hold, so it goes and it pushes a little farther. So you can see it comes back up here, and I just want to show you where that hidden seller was, because they are right. If we go a little bit farther, dun, 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 dun. All right, so we see it print 15.9. Look at the size here. It says 100,000, but the one before that was, 5,000 shares. It says 5,000 shares. Look how many buys this seller eats up, and this price does not go anywhere. Look at that. He's holding 50,000, 50,000. All these purchases, yet they can't break through the seller at 5.9. I'm thinking, what's going on here? What type of size does this guy have? Does he have 1 million shares he's selling here? Does he have 2 million shares? That's the thing. There's a hidden order where you see at 500,000, 140,000, it goes absolutely nowhere. Now we start to see some sellers come in. I'm thinking, wow, this guy just ate up I mean, probably like $1 million, close to $1 million, at least 750,000 at this point. He's not going anywhere. Now there's other sellers stepping in. It's not just the 5,000 guy. They got taken out, but he's still there. 147,000, nothing. He's selling more than 1 million shares. That's crazy. 170,000, nothing. Doesn't go anywhere. I'm thinking, all right, at this point, start to see some more red prints. I'd be like, this is a bad sign. A ton of red prints. I would probably be getting out here. If I dip bought here and I'd held through this, I would probably be getting out here. I might hold some shares to see if it can, end up breaking. Because if it breaks 159, it's a good sign, and it's going to probably rip through 16. But at this point, like, look, he's not going anywhere. It literally has not been able to do anything. And it can only sustain this for so long. Another 229,000 shares, and it can't go through. I mean, this is a brick wall. The buyers are just running into this brick wall, and they cannot break through it. That is a very, very bad sign. That is a bad sign. If this ticks under 589 on the bottom side, there we see a big seller. He just keeps eating them up, man. Just keeps eating them up. Now it ticks down. Bam. So that one seller, that hidden seller at 5.9, was able to prevent this stock from bouncing. If he hadn't have been there, this could have gone red-green on the day and continued on up. So that one seller was able to influence the price of the stock. Now you can see some massive sellers coming in. 240,000. This thing's just gonna keep dropping. And I recorded a little longer so you guys can see, but I mean, it keeps going. So anyways, yeah, if you see a seller who only has 5,000 shares, but he's eating up, millions in volume, that is a very scary sign if you're long on the stock. And if you dip out there like that is a good point to take your profits before the stock tanks, because there's people who don't know how to read this, and they don't know that there's a hidden seller there. They're like, it says only 5,000, like this should break through easily. But you can hide your size, and you can sell 1 million shares, 2 million shares, but only display a 5,000 share order. So that is the takeaway from this, guys. If you're long on this stock, look out for the big sellers like that, because there's like 4 billion shares out there. So there's a lot of sellers who have a ton of shares to sell, and they want to make sure they get the premium price without scaring the price down. Because, I mean, can you imagine if like a seller popped up there with like a 50 million sell order? Obviously, that would have, had a huge tank, and they wouldn't have been able to get 15.9 for so many of their shares. That's the point. That's the reason they hide their size, because they want to get the best price for it. All right, guys, that's it for today. Hopefully, you found the video helpful. If you did, remember to subscribe, because I make these types of videos all the time. Hopefully, we'll be talking about some other stocks today too. The Airbnb IPO, if I can get to that. And yeah, so leave a like if you found it helpful. All the jazz. Follow me on Instagram at @TheLaptopLegend, and I think that's it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, let's grow better together. Preguntar, bebé, dime por qué te mientes. No puedes esconder todo lo que tú por mí sientes.